Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That was a bit Bruce Almighty, isn't it? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the I'll Try That podcast. Joining me this week are my esteemed colleagues, Richard Drabwell.
How are we doing?
And Joseph Druid.
Hello. Also, Drabs, I like that you saluted when it's just Barber and I on the video.
I think if you listen really closely, you can hear the salute.
I'm just giving you the formal greeting that you guys deserve.
Thank you.
And all that time in the military was well spent.
Yeah, scouts.
I'm not going to ask what you got up to.
Isn't it like the one of those ones?
Yeah.
What's the it's the dib dob. I don't know. I can't remember.
Little scout salutes or something where you like touch your lips with your
there we go.
fingers
That
and
was
off your forehead and things.
I think it's that I promise to do my best, to do my duty to God and to the Queen. Something to keep the scout law. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's roughly something like that, isn't it?
Roughly something like that.
You're talking to like what?
Pretty sure that's word for word.
I think you're talking to like the equivalent of the English version of an Eagle Scout or something, right? You know, you went pretty high up in your scouting career.
I was a scout leader for a period of my life.
So why are you acting like you didn't really know what the pledge was? The pledge of Scout Allegiance.
Yeah.
I think he wrote the pledge actually.
Yeah. I met Baden Powell.
I was going to say Baden Powell
original.
over here. Oh, we can all name the founder of the Scouts, can't we?
I think he's been condemned as a paedophile now.
No. I get Baden Powell mixed up with Enoch Powell, and that's not good either as well, to be quite honest. And also, just for your reference, listeners, there was all sorts of saluting going on during all of that. We've gotten a little bit sidetracked. Here this week, the boys are down my ends, and we're tasting Gloucester Brewery, mate. Bosh tears out, innit? Don't think anyone's ever said that. So our pursuit of happiness this week is focusing in on Gloucester Brewery. Regular listeners will know that's obviously geographically a brewery close to my heart. What we're drinking from Gloucester Brewery is their 5.2% New England IPA. Before we get into our review of that, we'll do our normal thing and have a hop topic, and I believe that Joe is going to talk about it today. Is that right?
Yes, I do. I am. I will. It's me.
Go.
Boys, what do we think about genetically modified beer?
I'm in all honesty, I haven't thought a lot about it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I'm just going to go. Everyone just used to go, oh no, genetically modified, boo. Oh, we don't like that. We like organic. We want dirty, smaller potatoes and carrots. An organic.
I think I'm there for genetically modified. It's just a bit cooler, isn't it? Like, I'd be there for like a genetically modified chicken, all of that sort of stuff. If I can get bigger chicken breasts, yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want like a 6-foot chicken, would you? That would be scary.
How big do you want your chicken breast is the question we're actually answering.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Depends on how sexy you wanted to look. Chicken with 34 double D's. Oh, you mean for eating purposes? I see.
I used to when I was on the dating app. So one of my questions I used to ask was, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Oh, okay, yeah. You definitely go for the duck-sized horses. Sorry, duck-sized horses, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh well, yeah, you could just kick them.
Yeah, horse-sized duck, you've got no chance.
You just hear it in the distance. Wah!
So, Joe, I think this was what you wanted to talk about.
This is exactly what I was hoping we'd get into. An age-old. I mean, I'm all here about sparking debate.
There you go.
We've gone on a classic.
There you
right
go.
Now. So,
well, to answer your question, we will not fight a horse-sized duck.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, so the age-old question of genetically modified things, as you said, you boys have both spanned the gamut of, I have no idea what GM is. That's Rich's response, all the way through to, or have not thought about it, all the way through to Barber's thing of like, isn't it bad or something? I don't really know. And I think that's kind of sums up, I think, most people's synopsis. If you don't know anything about it, you probably, or you know a little bit about it, you're probably like, oh, it's bad, so everything has to be organic. But what if I told you that genetically modified beer is a thing, and there's it's a growing area within the industry that has long been, it's like a very unknown, like it's not a secret, but it's like well known within the industry that you can basically get genetically modified ingredients like your yeast, for example.
Oh, I was just about to jump in and go, I bet this is about yeast more than anything else.
It's absolutely about yeast. Absolutely about yeast. So the point of it is why
yeast is a live ingredient.
Exactly. So it's a live ingredient. Why else do you think it might be important that like yeast could be, you know, genetically modified? What might be the benefits of genetically modifying your yeast?
It might make it basically make it more bountiful.
Bountiful, yeah, bountiful's the right one. What did you say? Meatier?
No, yeastier.
Oh. Makes about as much sense as meatier, if I'm quite honest.
That's what the scientists were looking for, wasn't it? Like, this yeast is fine, but we want it yeastier.
I just like to think so.
Also, the name of Kanye West's next album, I think, isn't
it? So basically, the benefits of it is that you can have a larger kind of, you know, yeast now is you can get it in so many different varieties and formats and stuff, and it's so central to the brewing process. As brewers are on this kind of journey of pushing the boundaries of what beer is, and they continue to keep pushing the boundaries of beer. As we know, when one brewer can have 50 different types of beer within a given month or something.
Yeah.
Yeast is obviously a core component of that helps to facilitate this kind of explosion of different types of beer. But what happens if you want your peachy yeast, you know, your yeast that's going to give you like a peachy flavor, but you can't get peaches from the orchards of Sicily, if Sicily apparently now make a load of peaches. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what happens where you can't get the physical peach to put within your product or whatever? Well, genetically modified yeast can help, because they can basically change the genomes so that it creates the flavoring of a peachy beer without you having to have a peach reliant on a peach ingredient or something.
See, that's really cool.
It's really cool. It's really interesting, and it's been spearheaded in the US, where they have quite lax laws when it comes to genetically modified foods. And so it's really
classic
strong.
US.
It's been adopted. There's a lot of big startups that have grown up, and companies bigger companies who have got big US based breweries. So, for example, Lagunitas Brewery, which is that California brewery that we love so much, that is actually owned by Heineken, as we've talked about on the podcast before. They've said that they don't actually have any beers that have GM yeast or products or ingredients within, but they are trialing it, and they're conducting trials, is how he's described it. Whereas Carlsberg, which is, Danish, big, another massive multinational brewer, they're saying they have actually issued a no GM policy. So none of their ingredients will ever have GM things anyway. And that was why I sent you boys that photo, because unfortunately, Bridget Skadekog, who is one of the leads at Carlsberg, I don't know why, but when I scrolled down, and no offense to Brigitte, but she looked like a bit of like a lizard within the reeds, just because she's clearly enjoyed the sunbed or the sun for a long, long time. Looks a bit leathery and.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I
don't. Maybe that's the filter or the lighting.
I think it's not a flattering photo. I think she's unfortunate, and it's I'm not trying to figure out because she's female or anything. Of course not. It's just like anyone who looked like that, I would probably make a comment about, because it's quite remarkable, this photo. Anyway,
also it's almost like quite a rich sunset maybe going on or something like that.
It's just the fact that she's within some reeds as well also makes the photo quite bizarre.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like she's hiding in the undergrowth. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is so rich. Go on.
Also, Carlsberg should probably use some genetically modified stuff, because it might make their stuff taste better. But who am I?
You went there. Deal with that, Heineken. Or is it Carlsberg? Sorry.
Carlsberg. So
because Heineken Leganese.
So we've talked about we'll cover this, but what is the kind of the end goal here with GM? We've talked about maybe like, it might help with like logistics of getting ingredients and stuff, but what and the variety of beer. What do you think is like the holy grail, let's say, of like genetically modified yeast?
Pizza flavored beer.
Pizza flavored beer. Okay, so you're going down a flavor route. Okay. Is that big enough to be like the holy grail of this genetically modified yeast?
Yes.
For me, is the holy grail for the drinkers or for the producers?
What do you think? I'll give you a hint. It's for the drinkers, but it would have effects that would benefit. It's for the drinkers, but of course it would benefit the producers if this thing were to happen.
Well, of course it's got to be the cost. If it gets to a point that it's going to be
free beer.
it's going to be cheaper to, of course, the technology will get to a point where it's going to be cheaper to infuse you different flavored beers instead of, if we go back to the peach thing, they're not going to have to import whatever peach flavouring or extract or anything like that. They're going to get to a point where we go, right, it's peach yeast time. Let's order in some peachy yeast.
I think I figured it out. Are you bringing it back around to a recent episode and beer potentially not going off?
He knows. Go on. Carry that thought
on. He knows.
Because it's least is a Yive product. Wait, hang on.
A Yive product? A Yive product?
Yeah, is that so they reckon they might be able to be like, keep it fresh forever.
Exactly. That is the holy grail
that
is being talked about of why genetically modified yeast is so important, is because they are hoping that the end goal is that they can engineer an IPA that stays fresh forever, tastes consistent everywhere you go in the world, and its hop never gets old. So that is like monumental because, and this is, the kind of the spokesperson for this basically says, and they actually think that a lot of manufacturers are well on their way of achieving that goal as well. So it's not like this is just a pipe dream. Like actually those who are involved in this GM conversation / development are well on their way of ensuring that they can get this holy grail, basically.
I do find that interesting because I recently watched a little bit of that, The Last of Us.
Yes.
And it sowed a seed in my head about like, what would I do if it was the end of the world? I was up late the other night, and I was thinking, I was like, can you imagine? So if you go wandering around after the apocalypse for like 15 years or something like that, and then you're going to happen upon a can of like your favourite beer, you're like, oh great, this is still here. Yeah, well it'll be off, wouldn't it? However, these guys are going to sort it out for us.
Well, this is quite literally the beer of the apocalypse, the apocalypse surviving beer.
Apocalypse beer.
Yeah. So, but is it going to be the yeast that's living forever that has caused the apocalypse?
He's basically saying they're basically saying that it's like, don't know.
Well, yeast is living. So this is the
this is just about to happen on the plot of a really good B movie.
The yeast. The yeastening.
The yeastening.
And then you get
starring Joe Drake.
That's it. And then you have the sequel, the yeastening. Make it yeastier.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, we've done yeast then. That was well done, everyone. Should we talk about?
I'm going to get that on a t-shirt.
Make it yeastier.
Oh, let's get yeastier.
Yeah.
Next time at any London Craft Beer Festival or whatever it is, Trevor's going to go after like 7 or 8 beers and go, I'm going to say to you what I say to everyone at this festival. Make it yeastier. Good. Anyway, genetically modified beer, a divisive topic. What do you think? Write to us at wherever it is you write to us.
Richard Drabwell's house.
Please don't give my address out.
Should we go and talk about Gloucester Brewery?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Guess where? Gloucester. We can drive a tractor. Actually, that's Cheltenham Town. I think that. Guess where Gloucester Brewery is?
It's Gloucester. So my kind of understanding of Gloucester, because obviously I'm from Worcester, is all rugby based, or at least it was when we had a rugby team, and it was that phenomenal.
Too soon.
I know, too soon. It's still happening. Anyway, and it was that like Gloucester like chant of like what is shouted out at the rugby game to G on their team.
Yes. There's also a cathedral.
Yes. Harry Potter was filmed there.
Yes, bits of Harry Potter was filmed in Gloucester Cathedral.
Yeah. My only real experience of Gloucester was it's got a really good climbing wall.
It does.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've been there. I don't even know if it still does.
Yeah, I used to go to a kids club called Rock Rats. So
nice. How old were you at the time?
Like 18.
Okay. Sound. Well, there's a brewery in Gloucester, and actually in Gloucester, sure, there's quite a few breweries about. Gloucester Brewery, you would think by the name, it must be like the original brewery in this neck of the woods. However, only established in 2011.
Wow.
And it is, I think, Drabbers, maybe going to fit in with your description of, or definition rather, of craft beers. We're drinking, again, this is part of why this is my episode sort of thing, is because this was part of our swap shop that started, several months ago, and we're still going with it by gum. I have sourced a few cans of the 5.2% New England IPA. In fact, maybe that's a better place to start. What do we think?
Oh, it's very tasty.
I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I love
two thumbs up.
Yes, I love a NEIPA or a New English IPA.
It's typical of the sort of thing that they do. I mean, what I meant when I said that they meet your definition of a craft brewery. So they do a session IPA, which actually, again, Joe, you mentioned the rugby. Every week when I'm at the rugby, that's normally my tipple. There is a little stand that does some of the Gloucester Brewery beers. So there's a session IPA there. They do these new craft beer styles. So New England IPA, American Pale. They also do some classic, like they do a Gloucester Gold, which is just a golden ale. There is a Cascade. Again, I always say Cascade like it's its own beer type, but that'll be an IPA as well, won't it? An English craft lager, and loads, more than you could shake a stick at. There's a limited edition Red October Vienna Red Lager, which I haven't tried yet myself, but I'm quite interested to, because to be honest, they're really good across the board, cask and keg, and made with a sustainable bread mash. So sort of in the kind of wheelhouse of a lot of craft breweries we've tried before, and just really solid in my opinion. And
I like that.
Quite proud to boast of the sort of local connection. So
I was going to save this for when we met up at yours at the end of the month, Barber. But seeing that we're talking about them now, this probably seems like a good time to bring it up. It is related to Gloucester Brewery. Okay. So in your area, where is the best service station?
Well, oh come on! Is no one aware? Are people not aware of this? I can't remember which comedian it was, but he tweeted something recently about like Gloucester services is like the 9th wonder of the world. Junction 12.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's the best. Yeah,
they're linked to. I think it's like the same company. If you've ever been really far north, T-Bay services
up in
I think
Scotland,
they're like linked.
Yeah, the second best services in the UK.
Oh, you're going Gloucester first and T-Bay second.
So I'm going Gloucester Bay and T-Bay second.
Oh, the local pride is Gloucester services. To be fair, is next level. It's almost a problem for people in Gloucester, because why would you go to the service station? And you go to the service station because it's that good. But like, if you're coming home from somewhere, you don't go, should we go? No, you go to one. I'm just going to carry on home. I'm not going to stop off at the services. I'm nearly at my house. But then everyone's like, Gloucester services is pretty banging, though, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic. But the reason I bring up Gloucester service, because I was in there recently, and I think I've picked up possibly the best collaboration beer I've ever seen in my life, which is with Gloucester Services and Gloucester Brewery.
Hang on, I must have missed this.
You obviously have.
You can't,
Clearly have.
you obviously have.
How embarrassing.
Because I've brought 3 cans and I'm going to bring them up when I next see us boys.
Nice.
Because you can only buy it in Gloucester Services. And I think that is more breweries should do collaborations with services along motorways.
That's so good.
I think it's an untapped market.
I've never heard of a collaboration like that before. That's brilliant.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm actually going to be near the services soon.
Just to kind of give
For
you
our
a
transatlantic
review before we officially review it, to give it a proper...
For our transatlantic listeners, a service station is, what, a truck stop?
Yeah, the Americans know it all too well, but they're just horrendous in the States. I remember like driving up and down the East Coast, and the East Coast service stations are usually the worst as well, unfortunately, to the East Coast. They're usually just like a gas station with a Dunkin' Donuts, like in a little strip mall thing, or you go on the one up towards like go skiing in Vermont and like along that route, and they're just like, it's really bizarre. Like you can go buy like a crusty slice of like a lukewarm slice of pizza, like it's just really subpar. Or there's a McDonald's there, like classic, but it's like it's not aesthetically done. Whereas the Gloucester Services, it would be, you'd be better off to make a trip across the ocean for this, across the sea.
I don't think it actually happens, but like in my head, a visit to Gloucester Services, there's like Vivaldi playing and like a fountain and like a waterfall, and everyone talks in nice hushed tones. But it's actually kind of like a turfed building, isn't it?
It's kind of like...
you just have... To be honest, the best thing I ever got from there was a really good pie. And it was to be fair,
does it have a Nando's
pie.
in it? I think it does, doesn't it?
No?
Possibly. Honestly, I've not been it's not been in the last 12 months.
It doesn't have a Nando's, does it? That's just one thing that's wrong about it, is it doesn't have a Nando's inside it.
It doesn't have a Nando's. Is there any service station that has a Nando's?
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, the
where?
The ones on the way on the M25 towards where is it? It's near Reading. Anyway, I know it in my head. I can picture it. I've done the drive too many times, but it's got a Nando's.
That commuter belt sort of.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Nando's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm going to say that Gloucester Service is a little bit too highbrow for Nando's. It's
all
great.
About the,
is artisanal farm to table
sausage rolls
stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sausage rolls that are so good they make you want to cry. But interesting. I will try and get hold of some Gloucester Services beer.
If you can't, don't worry, because I've got a can for both of you.
You've got some.
I've got some.
Okay.
Don't worry.
That's very kind of you.
So tell us about Gloucester Brewery a bit more. I'm intrigued because I was looking at them, looking in the background behind what they're up to and stuff. They've got a whole range of beers here, which I didn't know. So they're saying their Gloucester Gold, their 3.9% is the one that they started out with. I think you might have mentioned that, Bob. Did you? That this is the first one?
Yeah, indeed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this one that we've got, they've got a whole host. We've got a Session IPA, the New England IPA, the NEIPA we've got here, the American Pale Ale, the Dockside Dark. Mm-hmm. I guess that's alluding to that it started out in the docks, I believe.
And actually their tap room I think is in the Gloucester Quays area where there's like a little shopping area and that sort of thing. So really quite a nice setting to go and have a beer as well. And they do quite a bit of, actually to be honest, if you go and read about them, there's quite a lot they try and do to engage with the local community, but they also do kind of a lot of rugby themed things. So also they had loads of events showing the Rugby World Cup recently because it's a big rugby city as well. So loads of that kind of stuff. They also are a gin distiller as well. So brewing is the main aim of the game, for want of a better phrase. But they've gotten into actually gin and vodka, I think, as well. So I say something for everyone, maybe not so much for the kids, but if you're not much of a beer fan, they're also doing gin and vodka, and similar with. I think who else had done that? Was it Seven Brothers up in
Seven Brothers,
Manchester,
Brewdog,
where they done Seven Brothers?
Well.
Yes, that's true.
A lot of company, a lot of breweries having a distillery arm, like growing distillery arm. I think Adnams have got one as well. Who else do we talk about recently? Yeah. Who's got that? One of the other players, like in that. More established neck of the woods. we've got it. I think who's the Cornish one? The big one.
Verden?
No, the big one, the more established one. It's got all the
St Austell's.
St Austell's. They have a spirit arm as well. I'm sure of it. So yeah, it seems like beer and spirits seem to go hand in hand with these brewers, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, and actually, just also, we're enjoying the beer. This NEIPA is cracking as well. The other thing I would just say, sort of in favour of Gloucester Brewery, is actually they're pretty socially conscious as well. They seem to get involved really well with charities and local communities. I know they've done a lot of stuff with Calm, but there's also I think this summer there was a trip by some of the team at Gloucester Brewery to Kiev, obviously in support of the war effort there. So they're really engaged with that sort of stuff, and we do see that. You see a fair amount of that with other breweries that we've looked at, but it seems to be like a real sustained effort across a lot of fronts from Gloucester Brewery. So fair play to them for that as well. But
I was really enjoying looking and finding about their different venues that they've got. So they've got one that's like Warehouse 4 tap room, the Arkle Bar, and there's one that's called Tank.
Tank.
I like it.
The Arkle Bar is at Cheltenham Racecourse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arkle Bar. Perfect spot. Cheltenham Racecourse.
Warehouse 4. I think that's is the tap room at Warehouse 4. I think, isn't it? Yeah, and that's at Quayside. I think. I'm trying to remember where Tank is actually. I think that's
I can tell you, it's in the vibrant Gloucester Docks. Our spacious and welcoming bar. Plus.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And they also have one of their events in November. Guys, get ready for this. Age UK social group. So they're looking out for everyone, Very socially conscious.
Okay. When are you visiting in November?
Unfortunately, it's after this has happened, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. Well, that's there's a little teaser right there. We might be
in time just for, the Acoustic Wednesday that's going to happen.
Oh, good.
Well, there's a little bit of a teaser there. I'm afraid the plans are not solidified yet, but ITT on tour in Gloucestershire at the end of the month, and there'll be forthcoming episodes presumably in December and early January on what happens when we get together. Although actually that's going to be the basis of our next beer swap shop, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Swapping that beer.
I feel like we're going to do a
Stay tuned for that,
first ever event where we're not staying at home. We're going to do a bit of a combo of some recordings at home and some recordings on the move, aren't we? On the hoof.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Are we going to the rugby?
I was going to make you come to the rugby. Yeah.
Oh no!
I'll buy you a ticket. And you two can buy the beer.
That sounds good. It's fine. We'll put it down as a business expense because we'll have our microphones with us. It's fine.
Exactly. Should we do the numbers on Gloucester Brewery?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
I got them. So Gloucester Brewery UK on Instagram has 5,000 followers,
and on Twitter 9,705 followers of @GBrewery. If you want to check them out.
Nice. I must say, Gloucester Brewery UK on their Instagram, they have these the roundels that's gin events, highlights, beer highlights, sort of different years, and then they've got one that says Ukraine 2023. It's just some guy's face. It looks. I've got to click into it to find out what that's about, but it's like, oh,
I think that might be the man from the brewery, maybe the founder, going to Kiev. I think.
Oh.
What did you think of the can design? Because that's something we normally talk about and haven't talked about so far.
It's very unusual, isn't it?
It is different. There's a lot going on there, isn't there?
I like it says Glock Brew.
Yeah, but if you go around the side, it says Esther.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Joey. Oh, sorry, that's Estelle, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't like that because I just thought it said Glock Brew and I thought that was really stupid. And
I must say,
you've got to turn it around.
As someone who works in the industry, I am not a big fan of this pack design. I think it looks a bit meh.
I suspected you might say that.
I'm afraid.
Well, if you want to move to the Cotswolds and get a new job, Joe, you know where to apply.
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, hey, fair play to them to doing something unique. No one is going to copy them, so that's pretty good. So there you go.
You two. Has Christmas come early because the claws are out?
They're well on their way to becoming iconic.
There you go. Let's draw a line under it there and move on to the next episode, as Dr. Dre said.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barber, and Simo,
goodbye. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com.
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.